Boxing fans, grab your popcorn because the drama between Gervonta Tank Davis and Terrence "Bud" Crawford just hit a boiling point and is messier than ever. This time, the gloves weren't off in the ring, but at the prestigious Ring Magazine Gala, where Tank's absence sparked a war of words that has the boxing world buzzing. Asterisk. Here's the drama. Tank didn't even make the guest list for the gala, and that snub clearly had him feeling some type of way. But the real mess started when Terrence Crawford decided to stir the pot, taking a sly yet savage shot at Tank's no-show. Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champ, isn't exactly known for holding back, and of course, Tank wasn't about to let that slide. Tank fired back, flexing about how he's making way more bank than Crawford. He didn't hold back, letting everyone know that his earnings are on a whole other level. It didn't take long for things to get heated after that. The back and forth quickly escalated, with both fighters throwing shots at each other, and the tension was palpable. Let's rewind. This all started when Tank, in his usual confident style, claimed that if he moved up in weight, he could easily beat Crawford. For a fighter like Bud, who's dominated multiple weight classes and claimed the undisputed title at 147 pounds, that statement was downright disrespectful.
47. How does a fight with you and Terrence Crawford look?
147? I tapped that chin. You know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know he
ain't
is.
got no chance.
I already know he is.
Said no chance.
I got round 5.
Got round 6.
Bud fired back, questioning Tank's level of competition and calling out the quality of his resume. He made it clear that Tank hasn't faced the kind of top-tier opponents that Crawford has, and he wasn't about to let that slide without saying something.
How you feel about that fight? Is it even possible at a catch weight?
Nah, ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47.
You're not even entertaining a catch weight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
All right,
I'll welcome him.
Crawford's jab about Tank's absence at the gala was a low-key reminder that Bud considers himself leagues above Tank. Tank, on the other hand, took it personally, emphasizing his star power and earning potential, but Crawford wasn't about to let Tank steal the narrative. He made sure to remind everyone who's really at the top of the sport. This beef couldn't have flared up at a more interesting time. Tank has announced that he plans to retire after 2025, giving him only 2 years to cement his legacy. With all this drama unfolding now, it adds even more fuel to the fire as Tank looks to make the most of his remaining time in the sport.
25 is at the next year. I'm out of it.
After our second fight. You're out of it?
Yeah,
Care to elaborate on that?
out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Fans are expecting big fights to close out Tank's career, and a clash with Crawford would be the perfect send-off, a showdown between two generational talents. It would be an iconic way for Tank to go out with the stakes high and the spotlight on both fighters as they face off in what could be one of the most anticipated matchups of the decade.
Are you retiring?
What changed? What made you?
It's trash, garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
I'm out of it.
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with the whole shit.
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby? Usually they're around to.
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. Like, like say you got to walk today.
While Tank seems eager to make the fight happen, Crawford isn't quite sold, and he's got his reasons. Crawford's been through the wars and is picky about who he steps into the ring with, especially when it comes to protecting his legacy. He wants to make sure the fight is right, both in terms of challenge and financial payoff, before committing.
Tank gave a little prediction on the fight, talked about Errol has a metal shield and you have a glass shield, talked about the punches. What do you think of Tank's assessment? Could he get it in the future? I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
Everyone's talking about Errol fighting the winner, Canelo and Jamel. Could you ever do that? Is that too much weight? Or?
What? 168? I ain't going up there.
Right.
So you got Canelo winning then, right? Then definitely. If he fighting at 168.
At 168, but has nothing left to prove. He's already an undisputed champion in the weight classes and is widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. With all his achievements, Crawford doesn't need to take on every challenge. He's already cemented his legacy, and now it's about choosing the right fights to further it.
He's saying that he wants you, things like that. Does that stuff just sound crazy, or just like I'm supposed to be called out?
When you look at all the great fighters that was getting called out by everybody from different weight classes, so it's nothing that I'm not surprised about.
A Tank would be something that he said he'll touch your chin and
man, everybody say what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 147 to face me no time soon.
But hey, Crawford didn't say no either. He's open to the fight if Tank is willing to jump up to his weight class. Crawford's not backing down, but he's made it clear that Tank would need to meet him at 147 pounds or higher to make it happen.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and daring to be great.
You would fight him,
man. Tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin. So tell him come and touch it.
Wow, man! Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147.
At 147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, oh man,
you gonna have a pre-camp.
Then what the people gonna say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
I don't know.
Before any talk of Crawford, Tank has to get through Lamont Roach, his next scheduled opponent. Roach is no easy task, and Tank will need to stay focused on that fight first before thinking about bigger showdowns.
And I promise you, you better lead them home. You better lead the females home. On my mother, you better lead the females home and the kids. On my mother.
Yeah,
now watch this.
Now watch. They gonna be
now
there.
watch. Now watch.
What's different from 10 minutes ago?
You know how when they told you say how like I posed for Lomachenko, right? Mm-hmm. And like how he said like he was retiring, things like that. I feel as though like we've been in it so long that we are getting tired of it. Like we've been beating our body up so long, but it be like situations like just now, like when he talking that spark the plug again.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Takes for you? Is that all it takes? Just a little comment?
Nah, but that's what I want though. I don't want you to fight me like you saying you're going out.
It always go like this. It always go like this.
Nah, what I'm
always
saying,
get the
you just
yapping,
said you feel like you going
and
out.
they go to sleep.
I don't want you to feel like you going out.
You're right. While Roach is a solid fighter with respectable skills, Let's be real, this isn't the kind of matchup fans were hoping for. With all the hype around Tank's future and potential big fights, many were expecting something more thrilling, like a showdown with Crawford or another major name. This fight feels more like a tune-up before bigger things to come.
Why was it so easy when he fought Frank Martin?
Frank Martin was inexperienced and nervous. You know, it is what it is. It's going to be a different fight when I'm in there. He's going to be a different fighter when he's fighting me.
Hey, what's your game plan?
Whoop his ass. I'm always looking for a knockout. No matter what, I'm always prepared for 12 rounds. But I'm always looking for a knockout, and if I get the chance, I'm going to try to knock his head off.
Tank is a global superstar, one of the biggest names in boxing. He's known for his devastating knockout power, his ability to sell out arenas, and his flair for the dramatic. Lamont Roach, on the other hand, is a talented fighter, but relatively unknown on the same level as Tank. For Tank, this fight feels more like a tune-up, a stay-busy bout to keep him active. While he plans his next big move, fans are looking for something bigger, and this is just a stepping stone on the way to the real action.
Roach fight.
I think that, you know, it's had a lot of criticism, but it's not a bad fight. You know, Lamont Roach is a world champion. He's smaller than Gervonta Davis. The problem is not many people are aware of who he is or his ability. But he can fight. I don't think it's a huge fight, but not a terrible one.
Fans aren't exactly thrilled about the matchup, and for good reason. If these are some of Tank's last years in the sport, they want to see him in legacy-defining fights against elite opponents. The general feeling is, we don't know Lamont Roach, but we know fighters like Shocker Stevenson. Fans are looking for those kind of matchups, not a fight that feels like a tune-up. The frustration is clear. There's a sense that Tank doesn't really want to take on the toughest challenges right now, and some feel like he's more focused on retirement than going after the top names. The situation gets even more frustrating when it feels like the offer to fight those bigger names is genuine, but then Tank chooses an easier route instead. It's like they're being led on with talk of big fights, only to see him face someone like Roach instead.
I know Lamont Roach, but you know, when you're looking at Shakur Stevenson, when you're looking at, you know, these other fighters that he should really be fighting, you know, he don't want to do them fights. He wants to retire.
Yeah.
So don't come and but don't come and come at me.
Yeah.
And go, oh yeah, let's give it all, you know, very big bollocks, and go, oh yeah, let's give him some stick, and then make out like we want the fight. And then we send an offer over, and then you fight for 15 million, and yet you fight Lamont Roach. Don't do all that. Do you know what I mean?
It was a real offer. That was true then.
It was a real offer. We offered. I said, listen, you keep talking shit. My promoter's going to get back to you in 48 hours. 50 minutes. Initial offer sent over. You know, but was it Unquail didn't let him out to play? His boss didn't let him out. That's it. So he wants to talk about 50 million. First offer.
There was room to negotiate.
Of course there was. But he's an idiot. I don't even know if he knows what negotiating means.
Most people believe Tank will dominate Roach, likely securing another highlight reel knockout. Roach just doesn't seem like the type of opponent who can really test Tank. Especially with his knockout power and elite skills, fans are expecting Tank to make quick work of him and move on to bigger challenges.
No, I think Lamont Roach is a terrific fighter. He might be a little over his head with Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is, to say the least, he's a beast. He really is. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a dedicated fighter when it comes to training and fighting and making sure that he's in optimal conditions when he steps inside that squared circle. It's going to be a tough night for Roach, but you can never count him out. You know, watching him fight up close and personal, he's sneaky good, which means he can catch you at any time. He can land combinations sometimes at will, without you even knowing it. You know, he's that sneaky. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But, obviously Gervonta Davis has the experience. He has the knowledge. He has that mean streak in him that will take you out with any punch.
Most people believe Tank will dominate Roach, likely securing another highlight reel knockout. Roach just doesn't seem like the type of opponent who can really test Tank, especially with his knockout power and elite skills. Fans are expecting Tank to make quick work of him and move on to bigger challenges.
Gotta ask your thoughts on Tank saying he'd knock out Terrence in 6 rounds. You think he was playing, trolling, what? Selling tickets to his new fight?
Was that like his tweets? Like he's
he said it
on video.
Huh?
He said audio. He said it. He's like, if I tap that chin, you know he chinning.
Listen, Terrence has already hired us for any of the little guys. Anybody 130, 26, 30, 35, Gary Russell, Tank Davis, you cannot go to get to Terrence Crawford without going through us. Rolly Romero, leave Earl Spence alone. You see what I'm saying? You come over here and you get that ass taken too. You know what I mean? Leave them big guys alone. Stop trolling them, right? They're best 147 pounders in the world. And they're the best 140 pounders for a reason.
Let's get to the fight everyone really wants to see. Gervonta Davis versus Terrence Crawford. This isn't just a boxing match. It's an event. Imagine the build-up, the press conferences, the face-offs, the drama, Tank's explosive power meeting, Crawford's technical brilliance. Now that's the kind of fight that sells out stadiums, that shatters pay-per-view records. The anticipation would be off the charts, and both fighters would bring their game, making it one of the most electrifying matchups boxing has seen in years. Here's the twist. Crawford isn't saying yes to the fight just yet. He's laid down a condition if Tank wants a shot at Bud. He first has to go through Keyshawn Davis, one of the brightest young stars in the sport. Crawford wants to see Tank prove himself against rising talent before getting that big payday, making the road to their showdown a little more complicated.
I want to fight him, bro, because he been tricking the boxing game for too long. He been tricking the boxing game for too long. He made shit look good. He making the shit look better than what.
The tension between Gervonta and Keyshawn has been brewing for months. It all kicked off when Keyshawn took to social media, accusing Tank of cherry-picking opponents and avoiding real challenges, just to keep his undefeated streak intact. That shot clearly didn't sit well with Tank, and it only fueled the animosity between the two fighters.
Is Keyshawn ready based on this performance to take on Tank Davis, and how does that fight
Yes,
play
I feel
out?
like Keyshawn is ready to take on a guy like Tank. I think that Keyshawn is one of the most skillful fighters in the sport of boxing. I always told Keyshawn since a young kid he can fight. I just don't like the simple fact that he's running on media and not keeping a buck, saying that he was beating me up and Shakur had to like rile me up to spar him, because this make no sense. Shakur is a better boxer than Keyshawn, and if I'm in there doing millions of rounds with Shakur, what makes you think that Shakur has to hype me up to spar Keyshawn? Like, it's that, but it is what it is. He got to hype himself up. He got to build himself. I don't really try to pay too much mind to that, but like I said, Keyshawn is a great fighter. I always thought Keyshawn was a great fighter.
Tank, for his part, largely ignored the noise, at least publicly, but behind the scenes, it was clear he wasn't happy about the disrespect. The press conference became his opportunity to set the record straight, and he did so in a way that no one could have predicted. Instead of just firing back with words, Tank took it to another level, showing he wasn't going to let anyone question his legacy without facing the consequences.